What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Dylan Matthews back at it again with the Hometown Take Podcast, episode 8 coming at you right now. I hope you all are doing well, first and foremost. I have happy Memorial Day to you all. Thank you to everybody who has served our country that is listening to this right now, even if you're not listening and you served our country, or if you have family members that have served our country, thank you so much. This day is about you guys, and unfortunately, it's about the ones who have also fallen fighting for our country, but we appreciate the ones who are with us and that are not with us. But again, hope you all are doing well. Thank you guys for jumping on, tuning in, listening into the program. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, tell your friends about the podcast. Trying to make this thing big, trying to make it worldwide, you feel me? But all right, we got some things we got to get into. It's been a minute since we talked. I'm going to start getting these things out on a more consistent basis. Again, got the equipment for my home studio, still trying to work out the kinks with that, but thank you all for your patience. But I know I got to get some content out to you, and I wanted to talk to you definitely before the final started, and I'm going out of town actually the day the finals start, so won't be able to do one for that week, the 30th through the 5th, I believe it is. I'll be out of town, so I won't be posting any videos for a while. I'll do probably some Instagram videos or something like that, just to give you a little something, you feel me? Can't leave you completely dry for a week. But however, we got some things we got to get into right now, so let's go ahead and jump on into it. We're going to talk about the Falcons and who is at OTAs and who is not at OTAs and why or why isn't it important. We're going to talk about the Braves. I'm feeling good about the direction. Still some slight concerns about the bullpen, but feeling better about the direction, and why Craig Kimbrel might be closer to reuniting with his former team, the team he came up with, our Atlanta Braves. But I have to start off with the Raptors. Oh my goodness, they did it. They got over the hump, people. LeBron leaves and they get right over the hump. LeBron leaves, they get Kawhi, and they get right over the hump, make it to the NBA Finals, where they will take on, of course, the Golden State Warriors. Man, I had so much more faith and expectations for the Blazers. I thought they were going to at least get a game. Dame, CJ, y'all couldn't get them a game? A game? Copying Stephen A. Smith here. You couldn't get a game? Obviously, he was referring to LeBron in the finals last year, but now I'm referring to Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum in the Western Conference Finals. You couldn't get a game? They were close, but still got swept with no KD. But I have a slight theory that the Warriors, play better without KD some of the times, depending on the matchup. But this is really, I talked about in the last video, so check out the last video if you want to hear more about why I think the Warriors are better without KD in some ways. But this is about the Warriors and the Bucks. What a series. Shout out to the Bucks. Had a good run, had a good ride. I thought they were going to make it. I thought they were going to outlast the Raptors. But, man, that boy Kawhi Leonard is a bad man. I ain't going to steal Stephen A's Aaron Rodgers thing. That's his thing. I ain't going to do that. I'm going to be original. But, man, that boy Kawhi Leonard was ballin'. He been ballin' really these whole playoffs. But goodness gracious, was this man on one in the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, come on. Averaged 29.8 points a game in the series. He shot 44% from the field, 33% from the three-point line, which isn't great, but still, pretty good. Averaged 9.5 rebounds per game, a block, 2 steals. Man, talk about greatness. We witnessed greatness from Kawhi in that Eastern Conference Finals. Really, we've been witnessing out the whole playoffs. I mean, you just go down to the conference semis against Philly, 34.7 points per game. Shot 54% from the field, 30% from the three-point line, averaged basically 10 rebounds a game, 9.9, 10. You just give him 10. And then in the conference quarterfinals, the first round, 27.8 points a game, 6 rebounds, shot 56% from the field. I mean, it's just been, and of course, had a great season with the Raptors as well, 27.7 points per game. I mean, Kawhi's just had a great season. Contract season, I'm telling you, said in the last video, he's trying to get paid, and Kawhi will get paid. It doesn't even matter what happens at this point in the finals. Kawhi is going to get that bag. He is going to secure that bag, people, barring any crazy injury. God forbid he gets an injury, but he's going to secure that bag. Otherwise, Kawhi is going to get paid. But he also is ready to win another championship. Obviously, he won that championship in 2014 with the Spurs, was Finals MVP. I feel like a lot of people kind of forget that. Kawhi was a former Finals MVP. He ain't new to this. He ain't been there in a little bit, but he ain't new to this. But Kawhi, again, has just been on a tear. But they're taking on a whole different animal now in the Golden State Warriors. Kawhi probably going to do Kawhi things. I will bet that Kawhi is going to do Kawhi things. He will keep doing what he is doing. What is going to be important if the Raptors even want to be competitive in these finals, everybody else. Not just the bench, not just the other starters, both of them. Kyle Lowry has to have another good series. He had a sneaky good series in this Eastern Conference Finals. Averaged 19 points a game, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. He was consistent. He was solid. Shot 50% from the field, 48% from the three-point line. He was solid. He was exactly what the Raptors needed along with Kawhi. If he has another series like this, look out. Look out. They might be able to do something, especially if KD is gone. Now, if KD comes back, I don't like, because I don't see anybody that could really guard KD, but maybe Pascal Siakam, who I want to get into next. He also has to have a good series in this upcoming finals. He had 14.5 points per game in this Eastern Conference Finals, shot 41% from the field, averaged 6.5 boards per game. But also, another big thing, he has to be good on the defensive end. He might be the person who can lock down KD. He got some key blocks against Giannis now in this past series. He has some key blocks and some key moments against Giannis. So maybe he could spark that up against KD. I don't know. KD's a different animal because you have to guard him out on the perimeter. So he's a whole different animal. Giannis, you know he's driving to the hoop. You can kind of time it out. You know he's not going to shoot. You don't have to respect his jump shot. KD, you got to respect him from any part of the floor. So a whole different animal. That's why I said if KD's healthy, Toronto, it's going to be really, really hard for you. Going to be really, really hard. Now, if it was the Bucks in the finals, then Giannis and KD, they could have battled it out because they are quite at the same length, both long, both athletic. Giannis could have at least slowed down KD if he was going to be back in the finals. If he does get back in the finals, we don't even know if KD is going to play again this season. Now, we hope so, just to see KD in the finals, but we'll see what happens with that. But regardless, if the Raptors want to be competitive in this series, Kyle Lowry, obviously Kawhi Leonard, and Pascal Siakam have to be the three that carry the load, not only offensively but defensively as well, especially Kawhi and Pascal on the defensive end as well. They have to bring that energy. They have to. They got to show up every single night. Can't take any games off against the Warriors. Can't have a bad game against the Warriors. You have to be on your A game the whole entire series. That's just how good the Warriors are. A good Warriors can compete with a great Toronto. They'll make it close. But a great Toronto can be a good Warriors team. Now, that's just if the Warriors are good. Great Warriors, near perfect Warriors, you're not stopping them. I'm sorry. They're just too good. They got too many players. They just out-talent Toronto. But the off chance the Warriors have, a string of bad games, some bad shooting games, you never know. We'll see. Also, another X factor going to be Fred VanVleet, who he had a son this past Monday, I believe it was. And ever since the birth to his son, he has been balling. 3 games, 16 points per game, 68% from the field, 14 of 17 from the three-point line, 82%. Man has a son, and he just don't know how to act. I ain't never, ever seen him act like this before. Goodness gracious. Word to Bradley Beal right there. Now, the 15 games prior to the birth of his son, only averaging 4 points per game, 26% from the field, 8 of 41 from the three-point line. That is good for 20%. So Fred was struggling before his son came into this world. Son come to the world, give him a whole different energy. He laid eyes on his son, and man, it was like throwing a ball in the ocean for Fred. And hey, maybe it stays that way. If it stays that way, you better watch out. Another good piece. But Fred's going to have to knock down shots. Danny Green's going to have to knock down shots. Kyle's going to have to facilitate and play well. Kawhi's going to have to keep on doing his thing. Kawhi's going to have to do Kawhi things. Pascal is going to have to be able to make some big shots and be even greater on the defensive end, because he will probably get the task of guarding Kevin Durant, if I had to guess. Klay's probably going to guard Kawhi. Kawhi is also probably going to guard Klay. He could possibly guard KD. Could be Kawhi guards KD and Pascal guards Klay. I don't know. Steph and Kyle will most likely be on each other. Serge is probably going to guard Draymond. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm just hoping for a good series. I still feel like the Warriors are going to win just because I don't see it. I mean, it'll be a great story. It really will be, but I just really don't see the Raptors taking down the Warriors. I just don't. But, man, if they do, I'm kind of rooting for the Raptors just because the Warriors won enough. They won enough. I want to see I want to see something new. I want to see the Raptors win. That would be a nice story. Plus, y'all know I'm a Drake fan. I just know Drake going to act up. One, he already going to act up because the Raptors are in the finals, period. And number 2, man, y'all can't tell me. I can't even imagine how Drake going to act if the Raptors win a championship. I'm expecting an album. Not a song. I'm expecting a whole album if the Raptors win the finals. He going to take some time to party, but then after that, I expect the album. Actually, I expect the song on that night, and then I expect the album afterwards. Drake. That's what I'm hoping for. Don't let me down. But it's going to be interesting to see. At the end of the day, I hope everybody just stays healthy. Hopefully, maybe Boogie and KD can come back. We'll see. But hopefully, just everybody stays healthy, and I'm just hoping for a good series, really. And the best team's going to win. Always does. It's just how it always works out. So I think the best team is, frankly, Golden State, and I think that's who's going to prevail overall. I'm gonna say in 5 or 6 games. I don't think it'll go 7. I'm going to say 5 or 6 games. But I will not be shocked if it goes 7 just because Kawhi is on a complete and utter tear. But it's going to depend a lot on the rest of the starters and the bench. But my prediction is Warriors in 6. I'm going to stick to that. Warriors in 6. You heard it here first. But, all right. That's my hype for the NBA Finals. Man, Kawhi been on a tear. I can't wait to see it. I hope they can keep it up. I hope the Raptors win. I'm rooting for the Raptors, but I think the Warriors are going to win. All right. Moving on to our Atlanta Braves. They have also been on a nice little streak lately. Ever since they got swept by the Dodgers about however a week or two ago, something like that. I don't have the exact date in front of me. But ever since they got swept by the Dodgers, they have won every single series since. So every single series they have played after getting swept by the Dodgers. They have won every single series since, and they have won 12 out of the 17 games they have played since playing the Dodgers. Offense has been cooking. It has stayed that way all season. And oh my goodness, that guy, Austin Riley, woo-wee. Man, I hope that this hot streak he's on continues because, man, he is on a tear as well. We thought Ronald Acuna Jr. was a phenom, and he is. He is a future star, and I'm not trying to get ahead of myself here. Let me let y'all know I'm not getting ahead of myself here. But Austin Riley, he has come to play as well. I mean, 5 home runs in his first 9 games? Goodness gracious. I mean, he coming to do his thing. He was raking right before we called him up. He was raking with the Stripers, and he's raking with us. In the 12 games he has played with our Atlanta Braves, 48 at-bats. He has 16 hits. 2 of those have been doubles, 5 home runs. He's got 14 RBIs with a .333 batting average. I mean, talk about an offense that was already clicking, already like a well-oiled machine. I mean, it's kind of just like, it's like the icing on the cake, even more icing on the cake. I don't even really know what to call it. Just another great bat right now for the Atlanta Braves. And the offense is fine. It's always been fine. I'm going to leave it at that. It's not any more much to say. The offense stays this consistent all year. The offense will be fine. We will score runs with the best of them. But the bullpen's still a little shaky. Still a little shaky. We made a good comeback tonight. Well, I guess yesterday on Sunday Night Baseball. Got the win, 4-3. We were down 3-0 in the 9th. But then our big hitters got us cooking. Freddie started things off with a double to right. He got to third on a wild pitch. Donaldson then singled to right. Drove home Freddie Freeman for the Braves' first run of the game. Then Nick Markakis walked, brought Donaldson to second. Then that boy Austin Riley came in clutch, singled to left center, brought home Donaldson. Riley got to second. Markakis went to third, 2-3. St. Louis still in front. They bring in Shelby Miller to pitch. And then Brian McCann strikes out swinging, but then Ozzie Albies comes in, singles to right, brings home Nick Markakis for the tying run, but Albies does get thrown out at second. Riley goes to third. But that's all the magic we could cook up for the 9th inning. So go to the bottom of the 9th. Zach Webb has a clean inning, clean 1-2-3 inning. Perfect. Then we go to the top of the 10th. Dansby starts it off. He pops out to first, but then Freddie, of course, always coming in clutch. Does it a little differently this time. Reaches on an infield single to first. So he's on first. Donaldson then walks. Freeman gets to second. Markakis flies out to center, but it's a productive out. Freddie Freeman is able to advance to third. They intentionally walk Austin Riley. That's a good sign already. I mean, he's hot. They don't want Austin Riley to hurt them. But then they bring up good old B-Mac. And hey, he didn't necessarily win it with his bat, but he won it with his eye. A veteran takes his walk, and that brings home Freddie Freeman, and that's the ball game. Braves win it with a final score of 4-3. So the comeback kids do it again, and the Braves win it and win the series in St. Louis. Now, all that is fine and dandy. Our offense bails us out, but I mean, and the pitching wasn't terrible. It wasn't bad. Julio was okay, I guess. But last night, or no, not last night, excuse me, Saturday, bullpen hurt us again. I mean, we were up 3-2 going into the bottom of the 8th inning. We're up 3-2. Dan Winkler. Dan. Inconsistent. I mean, it's the whole entire bullpen, not just singling out Dan Winkler, but bullpen is still inconsistent. So back to Saturday's game, Dan Winkler's pitching. Paul Goldschmidt reaches on an infield single. Then DeJong grounds out into a fielder's choice to second. So they get Goldschmidt out, but DeJong still is at first. Then Ozuna singles to right. DeJong goes to third. Then Matt Carpenter singles to left, scores DeJong. Ozuna goes to second. Then we have Hiroko homering. He gets a nice 3-run homer. And that ended up being the dagger. And St. Louis wins it 6-3. That's a game we should have won. Dan Winkler has to be able to get that job done, man. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, it happens, but we got to solidify the bullpen. Point blank, period. But apparently, I'm hearing from sources, one of those sources being Paul Crane, who works with me at 92.9 The Game, that he is hearing that the Braves are willing to give Craig Kimbrel the money he is wanting, but he has to be willing to take a short-term deal. Craig Kimbrel has been wanting a long-term deal, around a 5-year deal. Atlanta's not going for that. No team is really going for that, and that's why he stayed unsigned for this long. He's wanting a 5-year deal. Teams are trying to do a 2 or 3 year deal maybe. But Atlanta is willing to give him the money, just not the years. So maybe, just maybe, Craig can meet in the middle. But we're going to see. Well, if we pull in Craig Kimbrel, maybe we can move a guy like Luke Jackson to the setup spot. We'll see, man. We can really just solidify that bullpen just a little bit, get that one piece in Craig Kimbrel. That could do wonders for us. So I hope we're able to get him back, and hopefully he comes back and does the things he was doing that earned him the Rookie of the Year in 2011, I believe it was. And how he was a staple for us for those couple of years. He was in a Bravos uniform, but we will see what happens. So bullpen has been better. I will say it's been better over this nice little stretch the Braves have been on. Starting pitching has been better too. Folty looked really good in his last start. He was back in all-star form. We saw all-star Folty. But we just need that consistency now. Big thing. Consistency is what I want from the Braves right about now. We've seen glimpses. We've seen flashes. We've been on a nice stretch. Just need it consistently now. But we are headed in the right direction. See, I didn't do too much complaining about the Braves. I like the direction we're going in. We just need to smooth it out a little bit. We're kind of too many ebbs and flows right about now. We're at a high right now, winning 12 out of these last 17, winning these past 5 series. We just got to smooth it out. Got a big series coming up against the Nationals. They haven't been playing too well. They've been in a slump. Hopefully we can keep them in that slump and keep riding high right now. Finally, I want to talk about our Atlanta Falcons. They are finishing up OTAs, and there are a couple big names who were not at OTAs. Those names include Grady Jarrett, Julio Jones, Deion Jones, Vic Beasley. Now, Grady Jarrett, understandable. He deservedly is holding out for a contract, which the Falcons have franchise tagged him, and they have until I believe it is July 15th to sign a long-term deal. It's either June or July to sign a long-term deal which they will get done. They will. I'm not worried about getting the Grady deal done. So they'll get that done. But Grady is holding out for the contract. Understandable. Julio Jones also holding out for a contract that he was promised. They said if, we'll just move some money up front now. This was last year, mind you. Move some money up front now. You come in. We do the season. You have a good season, which he did. Then we'll talk about a contract afterwards, the Falcons told him. Did all that. Now it's time to put the money where your mouth is. So Julio holding out for a contract. Understandable. Deion Jones coming off that injury. Even though he did come back in the season, he's still coming off of an injury. So he's not at OTAs doing his own thing. Understandable. It's fine. It's all good. But Vic Beasley. I mean, it's somewhat understandable, but Vic, are you really the one to not be at OTAs? We know you want a contract. Falcons picked up the option for you. Last year of his rookie deal, he will be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. He's playing for a contract, whether it's for us or for another team. So, I guess, but doesn't look that great. But, we'll see what happens. It doesn't look that great if he's wanting to stay with the Falcons, which he might not want to stay with the Falcons. He might be a little salty they picked up his fifth-year option. He is 3 seasons removed from leading the league in sacks, but besides that 1 year, what else have you done, Vic? The answer is not much. Either way it goes, Vic is going to have to prove himself this year. He's going to have a killer year for any team to give him a contract that he is looking for. So while Vic is not at OTAs and that might not make everybody happy, I'm going to say, Vic's going to ball out regardless because he's playing for a contract, whether it's for us or a different team. So don't fret about one Vic Beasley. He will be motivated this year just because of the contract season. He's trying to get the bag from somewhere, somehow. But that sack number is going to have to increase if he wants that. So, to recap the show today, the podcast today, talked the finals matchup. I love the story. Can't wait to see Drake act up in the finals. Hopefully, it is a good series. Hopefully, people stay healthy. And hopefully, Durant and even Boogie Cousins get healthy and are able to make finals appearances. But the way I see it, KD or no KD, I still see Warriors in 6. The Braves, I like where they're going, like the direction that we are headed in, but I just need a little more consistency from the bullpen. They still struggle at times, and I get it's going to happen every now and again. I know you can't be perfect throughout the whole entire season. There are going to be flubs. I get it, but I just want a little more consistency from our Atlanta Braves when it comes to the bullpen. Austin Riley is looking like a gem so far. Could be Rookie of the Year, maybe. A little too early, but can't help but mention it. Either way it goes, like the direction the Braves are headed. And finally, a couple Falcons not at OTA's. Biggest name right now being Vic Beasley. He's going to have to ball for that contract. Vic, you better ball out. If you want a contract, period. Not just if you want one from the Falcons. If you want a contract, period. Because right now, you only got 1 good season out of 4. It's going to be interesting to see. We got some good stuff going on in Atlanta right now, though. And, guys, again, please, please, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like the video. Share the video. Tell your friends about the podcast, please. trying to make this thing big time, man. Got some collabs coming soon. The video is coming soon. The video portion to this podcast is coming soon. Still working out kinks at the home studio, but I promise you we got some big things coming. For real, for real. But as I told you guys, going to be out of town starting Thursday. So I'm going to be gone from Thursday to Thursday. But I will be back with some good content soon. Also going to be posting some stuff on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at D_Matt96. Follow me on Twitter at Dylan Matthews 12. That is at Dylan Matthews 12 on Twitter. And at D_Matt96 on Instagram. Happy Memorial Day again to you all. Thank you to all the veterans and the current service members that are serving our country right now. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate your service. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's it, guys. We're going to talk to you soon. Peace.